I was alright.
Stephen,
Yes,
how are
mate,
you,
can hear you,
mate?
mate, yeah.
You definitely sound like a Newcastle fan.
I am. I joined last time, but Joey didn't stop talking, so I thought it was like pre-recorded.
That's just Joe for you.
Well, it's a
Hey,
Monday.
just to start us, Joey, you gave us one of the best days of my life before, but I left halfway through. Arsenal 4-4. I left at 4-0.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of blamed you for leaving the 4-0 either because we were shy first half. I don't think anyone's seen that second half coming, but that's what happens when you get the mad Geordie fans behind you and you get that momentum and play down that hill second half. We would have won that game if they carried on 5 minutes longer.
Yeah.
Well, I was normally one of them, but obviously I bottled it, got myself home and seen your goals.
Oh no, well listen, it was a cold, wet day that as well. What people forget, you also missed Czech Tioti's unbelievable moment. What a goal that was from Czech to equalise. So unfortunately, mate, when they say where was you when that happened, you'll have to say on the fucking couch.
on the fucking metro.
On the metro. But you've had some good days since. Obviously, bad news today, losing Isak. You must be gutted about that, but also still loads and loads of positives for Newcastle United.
I think it's a weird one. It's been going on that long, so you're just happy to see him gone. Like he's a dick, and he basically.
Yeah.
Well, these are Liverpool fans. I'm an Evertonian, so yeah, it's just the way he's gone about it. When you contrast that with like Mark Gay, I mean, look, I think when clubs like Crystal Palace lose a big player and his contract's run down, you know, they'll be gutted. But 3 years still left to run on his deal. Champions League football, club trying to build to become a serious player on a global scale, and obviously he still wants to leave. I think.
Well, Liverpool fans keep comparing with that, don't they? Saying it's exactly the same, but he's had a meeting with the board. He's had agreements he can go in writing. Isak's all he has to say.
Look, there's no easy way, is there, to leave your wife? Let's be honest. You know, if Cindy Crawford comes along, you know, in a prime, you know, there's no easy way. You know, you've got to either have a loyalty where you say, look, this is me, come hell and high water. Most players are slags. Let's be honest. Most players are fucking ready to go. If Real Madrid come in, if Liverpool come in, if Bayern Munich come in, or they get a load of money. So you can't have a go. You can't blame the game. You know, that unfortunately is the modern game. Like Isak, as much as the Newcastle fans have loved him, they've still got a massive profit on him. You don't want anyone playing for your fucking team and wearing your shirt if they don't want to fucking be there.
The thing is, in football, there's a hierarchy, and Liverpool have found out this somewhere as well. There's a hierarchy, and Real Madrid are a bigger team than Liverpool. They come along and talk trends. It's one of them.
I just think it swings and roundabouts, innit? Because you've got to balance the books and players and egos and stuff like that. And we're going to see more and more, I think, of player trades, elite level players being traded just because of how much money's involved in the transfers of the top players. And you're looking at Liverpool breaking the British transfer record twice this summer. You know, they've broken it before with that, obviously Alisson and obviously Van Dijk for certain positions. But again, you do feel like the game's rigged. As a Newcastle fan, you must feel like fucking you've got this Saudi investment, you can spend everything, and yet you've got to sell. Even looking at young Minter at Brighton, used to terrorise fucking Man City for spells of that second half. Elliot Anderson just getting an England call-up this week. These are players Newcastle have had to let go to balance the books, just to try and keep pace with a club who's just spent $500 million in one window. Liverpool and Chelsea spending $1 billion fucking in a couple of windows before that. It does feel like the game is fixed for the big cartel of the big six. What do you think about that?
I think the whole league's corrupt. The FFP doesn't really make sense in terms of, if you look at Villa, they've got Europe 3 years in a row and they're falling apart. But all the fees are massively inflated. Like, you're on about Sesko there for 70 million. He's terrible. And you look at back in the day, Shearer was 15. What do you reckon you'd be worth in today's current market in your prime?
Packet of crisp.
It doesn't make any sense. You can't compare it. You know, you've seen players who were fucking fantastic players go for like 800 grand in the 80s. And, you know what I mean? You know, the way the money's gone in the game now, I just don't think you can compare like for like. I mean, you know, when you're talking, as I say, I remember the 15 million quid for Shearer. I remember Andy Cole going, was it like 8.5 million? Stan Collymore, and then did Cole go from Newcastle for 7.5 million? I remember Keegan being on the steps and being like, fucking hell, 7.5 million. But Now that's nothing, is it? Do you know what I mean?
Even
now,
if you add inflation to it, that's still nothing now. It's just because, as you said, the money's...
You're £100 million prospect, aren't you, straight away? You know, if you're playing in the Premier League and you're playing for one of the top 8 clubs regularly, and you've got a chance, like Elliot Anderson, for instance.
Yeah.
He's at Notts Forest, just qualified for Europe, had a great season last year, just got in around the England group. He realistically must be worth, what, 60 to 80 million?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'd say so. Yeah.
The boy who's gone from Blackburn to Crystal Palace, Adam Wharton, who looks a really good player, they're talking about 80 to 100 million pound for this kid.
It's madness.
So,
good player,
but again, you know, and this where the Verts thing comes about. Isak's going to run into this. I don't think he'll have a problem with it because he's 25, going into the best years, which Liverpool are buying now. But again, that's another 250 million odd investment in all that total package, easy. And for me, you know, I don't think he'll have a problem scoring the goals. I don't think this is a young boy learning on the job. This is somebody who's going to take the next step into global superstardom, to put himself into the kind of pantheon of the world's elite strikers. And you know, you've got to play. Unfortunately, you've got to play for the sides that have the best chance of winning silverware. Now, the disappointment for the Toon is they've just shown they can win silverware, win that League Cup. I know it's only a League Cup, but you've got to learn to win and then win regularly. They've qualified for the Champions League in Isak's time, twice in his time at the club. You know, having Eddie taken over a relegation threatened team. You know, they're working through these PSR, these FFP rules to get the club on a better footing to invest in the squad and in the ground and in the infrastructure. So they need a player like Isak, who they took a chance on as a 23-year-old, to build their franchise, to build their club around. And I think that's why. And the way he's gone about leaving the club is going to leave a bitter taste, and it's going to tarnish his reputation on Tyneside. But again, you do have to accept that footballers are merchants, the guns for hires, the slacks.
Are you played at a club when that's happened though? Like, how do the players in the dressing room, like Bruno and stuff, how do they respond to that?
I remember Andy Carroll's deadline day kind of move, and he didn't want to go, Andy, so it was different. But you know, I've played with lads who've just said, look, I am not playing. You know, I've seen the other side of that, because at the end of the day, you know, once a player usually decides he wants to leave, it's a tricky one to stop. And the thing is, at some point, you've got to cut a deal and get the best transfer fee. It looks like Newcastle are going to get a British transfer record. They'll get the opportunity to obviously reinvest that. Yeah, but again, it's not easy. It's not easy to find players of Isak's calibre. But again, I always remember the great Andy Cole saying to me, Joe, in this game, everybody thinks fucking it's doom and gloom when somebody leaves, you know, but it ships in the night. As one ship sails out, someone else is going to get the opportunity to be adored by that Toon army and that Geordie faithful. And again, you know, they've taken a young lad out of Germany. It does look a little bit raw, but again, we'll have to watch this space. And Visser, who we know can be a threat. And I look at Newcastle's front line: Anthony Gordon, Harvey Barnes, obviously Jacob Murphy's come into that, and Alanga now, backed up by Tonali, Joe Linton, Guimaraes, and I think Jacob Ramsey's a good take. And I still think Newcastle in a really good position to have a good campaign in the Champions League and, you know, finish at least top 6 in the Premier League.
It's just to hopefully them two strikers have to hit the ground running. Now you hit both of them in.
What do you actually think? Like, what are your feelings of Walter and Visser?
Little and large.
I think if you look out the window, you'd be very happy. Like, we've improved a lot of positions. Like the centre half coming in, within every single player is an improvement on what we had, except for strikers to ease that. We'll have strengthened where we need to do.
Yeah, and don't forget, there's going to be an opportunity to reinvest that. And again, Ekatike Newcastle were trying to get done. Liverpool gazumped them on that. Obviously, they've now bent you over and absolutely finger blasted you by taking Isak as late as they did. But I think everybody knew it was coming, and they've been compensated for that. You know, it will feel a bit raw for a few months, that, because he's such a good player. But also, you know, Newcastle, Eddie out. I don't think anybody can doubt, you know, Eddie's recruitment at Newcastle's been absolutely fucking superb. It looks like the squad's knitted together, yet they haven't been phenomenal this season. You know, they've certainly been affected by the ISAK saga. But again, tonight brings that to a close, and I expect Newcastle to settle in from here and still have a really good season. And again, the challenge is on the two boys to kind of replace Isak's goals. Visser and Walter Made have got to try and come up with, probably 22, 23 goals between the two of them.
Yeah,
I think they can do that.
Well,
we'll watch his space.
Anyway.
Cheers, Stephen. Thanks for the call, mate.